How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another Flesh and Blood video here on Red Zone Rogue. Today we are talking about all the stuff that I got at the Uprising world premiere event in Vegas, including this little guy that I'll tell you all about shortly. But before we do that, let's do the playmats. Let's get the playmats out of the way. You've probably already seen the Dragons of Volcor playmat around. I ended up with 3 of them because I got all 3 of the packages, and I'm looking to sell 2 of these. I might have sold them already by the time this video comes out, but whatever the market price is, I'll sell them cheaper than that because it doesn't really matter to me. And you know, I'd like to give these to someone who couldn't go to the event and also help pay for my plane tickets because it was really expensive. But I'm obviously keeping one because this mat is rad as hell. Speaking of mats that are rad as hell, what's better than 3 dragons? Well, I don't want to say 1 dragon's better than 3 dragons, but 1 dragon with an awesome Steve Argyle signature might just be better than 3 dragons. Now, I personally don't need more playmats. I already have an absolutely disgusting amount of playmats. I have a ton of Flesh and Blood playmats, but also many others for other card games too. But I just had to go stop by Steve Argyle's booth, support him, and just, you know, say hi and chat a little bit, and that's exactly what I did. So I bought 3 playmats from him, and I got a little thing as well. We'll talk about that, like I said, in just a moment. And I also bought a metal print of the Blood of Drakai, the Fabled card. I'll show that off in a future video because that one is getting mailed to me. But I did get these with this awesome Steve Argyle signature at the top there. So here we have Dominia. I obviously had to get at least 1 Flesh and Blood one, but Steve Argyle's done art for a lot of things, and you know, I have a Legend of the 5 Rings retrospective coming up, and I just had to get one of his art pieces from L5R. I absolutely love this art. This is one of the key arts, or no, this is a key art for one of the booster box products, A Line in the Sand. This is from A Line in the Sand. So I have a box of it. It's like a tin, looks amazing. And of course, I got the awesome Steve Argyle signature at the top. And then of course, I got one of his, I don't think this is from any IP. I think it's just a really awesome looking angel with, once again, the signature. And I really think the gold looks real nice. And we'll stick with this playmat for the rest of the video, mostly because it's on the bottom and I already tossed up other playmats off to the side. So yeah, let's start talking about what else. There's so much stuff. Oh, I do want to mention that I brought, how many, like 40 of these, and I gave all of them out on the first day. So apologies to those who came up to me on day 2 and day 3, and I didn't have one of these to give to you. But yeah, I gave these all out on the first day. Please comment down below, by the way, if you're watching this video and you got one of these, or you know what, if you're watching this video and you just met me at all on the weekend, just comment down below. It'd be cool to see, you know, how, you know, who was there and who's watching this video. I just think that'd be kind of cool. These ones are going to my patrons for this month, but I will have more, and my official card back. This is just like the alpha card back. My official one is done, and it looks so good. So anyway, stay tuned for that. Let's talk about some other stuff. So I got a lot more stuff to show off. So let's just start bringing some stuff on screen. Oh, so here are the which dragon is this? I get the names. Oh, Dracana Optimi. So I got 3 boxes of these because I got all 3 packages. I opened up one that you'll see and played with. I'm gonna keep one of these for my background display because I'm just kind of keeping one of all of the Dragon Shield Flesh and Blood sleeves sealed on my display. And then the other one, I don't know what I'm doing with. I don't know. Not sell it, play it to some degree. This Ultimate Guard box I bought with prize tickets. It was actually super cheap. Amazing value on this thing. I think it was only like 200 something tickets, where like a booster box of WTR was like $4.80, and this is like a $60 item. So like the value is crazy. The value is crazy. So I ended up getting one of these. I would have actually gotten more if I had the bag space. And I also got 2 boxes of Crucible of War with my prize tickets as well, because I didn't have enough prize tickets to get a one of the really sweet playmats. And honestly, like I said, I have enough playmats as it is. I opened up one of the boxes at the event just for fun, and then this one, I don't know what I'm going to do with this one yet. Probably something with the channel. I'm not sure yet, though. Maybe give it to patrons or something. But yeah, I ended up getting 2 boxes of crew with my prize tickets. Let's see, what else? Let's show off some of this stuff, all right? So let's talk about this Visceri. Let's finally talk about this Visceri. This Visceri was drawn by, you know, you guessed it, Steve Argyle, the artist for Visceri, or at least the adult version of Visceri. This is Visceri Spinal Tap Backup Bassist. So first of all, I would like to say, you know, I'm showing off all this Steve Argyle stuff. He's an incredibly nice dude. Definitely worth supporting. The art is amazing, so definitely go check out his website, buy from his store. He's a great dude. I'm not affiliated or anything. It's just like, you know, he's a good dude. And so while we were chatting and while I was filling out my address to get that Blood of Drakai or Blood of the Drakai metal print thing shipped to me, we were just chatting and he was wearing a Spinal Tap shirt. And we started talking about Spinal Tap and metal. I talked about how like I was in a band at one point, and I asked him, I was like, hey man, do you have any of those little doodle things from last time? Because I got some of his little doodle things last time. So last time I got these 2, this little chonky dragon and this little chonky angel. I got these at the Pro Tour in New Jersey. And he was like, yeah, I still have some. I'm like, could you doodle me something? I'd really appreciate it. And so he started to doodle this. Like, he just, you know, it wasn't a request or anything. He just started to do it. And it's awesome. I love it so much. This is probably the thing that I love the most acquisition-wise from the weekend. Honestly, the experience, especially the Team Blitz event experience, is obviously the most dear to me. But, you know, object-wise, I love this more than anything. And I got some spicy stuff that we'll show off, including a Cold Foil Legendary, and I bought a Fabled, and I'll show all that stuff off in the video. But I really wanted to, you know, point this one out because I'm going to cherish this one the most. It's a one-of-a-kind thing, and it's awesome. It's just so awesome. A couple things to note for those Spinal Tap fans. We do have Stonehenge in the background, and one thing that took me a little while to note is the bass guitar here. The neck of it is broken just like Nebula Blade, and the rest of it, rest of the neck, including the you know, frets and everything, is you know, it's energy, which is awesome, just like the Nebula Blade. This is rad as hell. Love it. Huge shout out. Thank you, Steve. You're awesome, man. Okay, so let's show off the rest of this stuff. So yeah, these are just the ones I got from last year. Everyone who participated in the Team Blitz event, your entire team got one of each of the heroes, so Dromai, Icelander, and Phi. I ended up with Dromai, and I acquired a Phi as well. So I do have a Rainbow Foil Dromai and a Rainbow Foil Phi. You know, I should just put these cards, I should just put them up here. And then I ended up also with a bunch of Majestics from a booster box that Chris Sires, also known as Fab Unseals, opened up during one of the live streams. So he was doing some live streaming at the event. He had this awesome booth that was just all like, you know, done up with this logo and like a big tent kind of thing. It was rad. And he invited us over and we just chatted and we opened up a box of Uprising, and at the end he just gave it to us. I didn't get the real spicy stuff. DM Armada got a legendary, Rainbow Foil, Tiger, Stripe, Shuko, and Flake, Matt DeMarco, ended up with one of the Cold Foil Marvel Rare Dragons. But I got all the rest of them. I got all the rest of the Majestics. So I got an Uprising. I got a Burn Them All, which is awesome. That was really cool. Last pack. Definitely go watch this stream, by the way. It was a lot of fun. Invoke Dominion, which is sweet. Liquefy. Did not get a chance to meet Mark Poole. That's my one regret of the weekend. I was actually with Steve Argyle at the time, and he was doodling this for me while Mark Poole was there. But also got a Take the Tempo, Fog Down. This foil Fog Down was actually in my sealed pool, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. I got one of the reverse rewinds. Check it out. Isn't this rad? It's all reversed. Oh, it's so sweet. Yeah, take a look at that. Oh, awesome. That's one of my big pulls of the weekend. I guess we'll set this one aside special. Then one of these Phoenix forms was in this pile as well. I believe I believe so. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Because I opened one from my prize packs, I think. I think I opened up a Phoenix form from a prize pack. Another Phoenix form that I traded with DR Marmada. I traded him my Frost Hex that I got in draft. Then I opened up this Semblance from a prize pack. And then here we have, I'm just gonna hide that one for now. These are the prize tickets. And as you can see, I have 180 of these. I actually spent all my prize tickets, and then I went back after the event was done and was like, hey, they basically just throw these away afterwards, or they recycle them. So I was like, hey, can I just have some for souvenirs? And they marked the backs, you know, just in case, you know, you can't reuse them, right? But I like having this kind of stuff as souvenirs. I have a full set of them from the Pro Tour as well. Or no, the Nationals from Calling Orlando. So yeah, prize tickets. They're just cool little things that'll be on my background display. And then this is a card. This is Fabled Eye of Ophidia that I picked up over the weekend for $250 from a community member. So this is the last card that I needed before Uprising, and so I was like, you know what? Who's got one? Can someone hook me up? So someone did. So awesome. Here's my last card that I needed. And this is, I'm gonna play with this card. This is gonna be in many decks for years to come. So that's kind of like some of the spicy singles I got, sort of. They're the ones that aren't in decks. These are the ones that aren't in any of my sealed decks. I got a few more Majestics and a Cold Foil Legendary, but those are in decks that I played for the weekend. And like I said, out of everything, this Viserai is my favorite. You know, more so than the Rewind, more so than the Eye of Ophidia. No, I love this Viserai. So this little Wyvern box, by the way, is how I was carrying around my own little custom cards. And this is where I put a bunch of the other stuff that I acquired. So this is what I got from that other box of Crew. It's just, you know, it's Crucible of War stuff. Foil Breeze Rider Boots, which is really nice. Maybe Goarin Ninja, maybe? I don't know. And a full Rattlebones, which is also really dark, but really nice. I got 6 packs of Welcome to Wraith for a sealed event that I wasn't able to play in, but I took my packs, and I got these 2 Majestics from the packs. Oh, and this is just some other stuff that came in the Crew box that I opened up. Nothing too exciting. So here's some tokens from FABTCG cards. These are rad as hell. Look at these. Over on FABTCGcards.com. Yeah, cool stuff. So yeah, that's just kind of like some other random bric-a-brac that I got. Let's show off what's in this, because this is also exciting. So we have my 3 limited decks from Uprising, as well as some other stuff too. So how do we want to do this? Oh, and here's my deck from the calling event too. I'll cover this one really quick, just really quick. So Team Blitz calling. It was me, DR Marmada, and Jim from FABTCG cards. I'm playing Lexi, as you can see. DR Marmada played Kano, and Jim played Dash. We ended up 3-3. We had some stiff competition. We got matched against Tyler Horsepool's team, as well as Tarek Patel's team. Awesome gentlemen. Just had an absolute blast, but in the end, we ended up going 3-3. Personally, my record doesn't matter. It's a team event. But in case you're curious, I personally also went 3-3. Let's see, what did I run? I ran Lexi, but this is a no-fuse Lexi that I teched specifically for Oldhim. And I did win my Oldhim matches. The games that I lost all of the Kano matches. So I had 2 Kano matches. My first 2 rounds were against Kano, and he blew me up. Kano blew me up. My first opponent, I think, killed me on turn 1, and this is rough. It was rough, but it was good. It was like a really cool turn 1 kill. So huge shout out to him. And yeah, this is just a no fuse Lexi with a little fuse. Like I was able to fuse a lighted up against Tarek Patel's team playing against Saint from Fabled Hunters. Shout out to Saint. I think you'll see me in his video. But it was really fun. It was a ton of fun, and I actually really like this deck. I think it plays very well. I got some bad matchups. Like I said, Kano I think is probably one of my worst matchups. The tech against Oldhim was good. It is awkward playing with Dreadbore instead of Voltaire because you don't have that go again. But it's also really awkward for the Oldham player because this plus I was running Remorseless and Release the Tension. Let me find one of the Release the Tensions. And Release the Tension, it just made it really awkward for them to play any defense reactions at all. And it works. It's a little bit slower, but it works. I had a really good turn where I was able to Battering Bolt Oldham. He wasn't able to effectively block it, and it hit him, and he had to discard a bunch of defense reactions from his hand and lose a bunch of life. So there's that. But yeah, that is my Lexi deck. I really like this deck. Is it the best deck in Blitz? No, but it's Lexi, it's Ranger, and you know, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And I want to give a huge shout out to my teammates, DM Ramada and Jim from FABTCG Cards. It was an absolute blast, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. So, yeah. Let's talk about some of this other stuff. You're probably really excited about these. These are my sealed pools that or my draft and sealed pools that I went 13-2 with. I only lost twice, and the only 2 games that I lost were Icelander mirror matches. One of them to Yuki Lee Bender, shout out to Yuki Lee Bender, and another one to a fabulous person named Aria. She was also playing Icelander. So let's start taking some of this this stuff out here. This is just sleeves, and these are also just sleeves. And we'll take the old decks out. Move the Ultimate Guard box, which I'm really glad that I picked that up, because they weren't giving out the Channel Fireball deck boxes. They normally give out the Channel Fireball deck boxes, but for some reason at this event, they're like, nah, you don't get them. Which is fine. I mean, I have a crap load of them, but I was kind of planning on having a bunch of deck boxes for all these decks. So we'll open up this too, because this has the other draft deck that I played, as well as all of my other Uprising cards. These are just like the rares and commons and foils and tokens and all that kind of stuff. Nothing really exciting in here. There's some really pretty, foil rares. Oh no, it's in the actual deck. I was gonna say I got a foil Rise from the Ashes. That looks really cool, but it's in my FI deck. All right, so let's start talking about my limited experience this weekend, right? So these are the 3 limited decks that I built this weekend. We have Briar, Fi, Double Icelander. So Briar was obviously a Tales of Aria sealed daily double. I went 4-0. I actually ended up splitting prize with my last round opponent. We decided to split before we played, but then we just played for fun, and I ended up winning anyway. But I was still really happy to split. He was a really nice guy. So shout out to him if he's watching this video. Yeah, my Briar deck was pretty good. You probably don't care about this, but Sting of Sorcery, Sigil, Arcane Damage, yada yada, Ball Lightnings is pretty good. Went 4-0. These are the more exciting ones. So this is a draft deck. This one is a draft deck, and the one in the dual mats is my sealed pool. So this is my Icelander sealed pool, where I did open up a cold foil Coronet Peak in my very first pack, and I lost my mind. This is the best pull that I've ever had at a Flesh and Blood limited event, and I was really happy for it. This card in limited is just meh. It's just eh. It's a 2-block Blade Break, and it has an ability that's fine, but it doesn't count for Waning Moon, because Waning Moon cares about only if you play non-attack action cards, not just non-attacks. So I couldn't Coronet Peak into Waning Moon. So yeah, it was still fine though. I think this deck overall was quite good. I only had, I had a decent amount of reds here. I had some premium Icelander reds, including Ice Bolt, Aether Hail, Icebind. Dampen was actually pretty fine. Not the best, but I think the blue one's quite good. And I'll talk about why, but yeah, I think these are pretty premium Icelander cards. And then I had a bunch of generic ones. Some of these are actually quite relevant, like this Brothers in Arms, having 6 attack, popping Phantasm from Dromai, came up and was quite good. That all you got? Oh, I never got Flake to sign this. Oh no, I just realized this. This was Flake's preview card. This card is really good in limited. It's a 0 defense reaction for 3. And while this is defending an attack with 2 or less attack, when the combat chain closes, you gotta draw a card. Yes, I drew a card from this almost every single time I played it. It was quite good. And then I just ended up with a good number of other decent Icelander cards, and then a bunch of blues. Like, this is really the meat of the deck. These Singes are fine. I usually pitched these, but they're really good against Dromai. Does 1 arcane damage to a hero, and then up to 1 ally they control. So you can just kind of blow up one of their little dragons, which is great. The blue Dampen was also fantastic because you can play this on your opponent's turn at instant speed using Icelander to help prevent some arcane damage. So you do this in response to them having some arcane damage on the stack, which is great. Icebind, Aether Ice Vein. A lot of these, I didn't have a ton of fusion. Like, I didn't have a ton of ice cards to fuse with. Like, you saw, like, the 1 Ice Bolt and then, like, these 2 other cards. I didn't have a ton of cards to fuse with. But they just did arcane damage, and they're blues. So being able to just play one of these and then immediately follow up with a Waning Moon is so good. Waning Moon is really good. Now, I'm doing a whole video talking about, like, tips for Limited. You've probably already seen it. If you haven't, go watch it. I think it's the one video before this. But Waning Moon is really good. Icelander is really good. I was way underrated Icelander going into this limited environment. A lot of people are super high on Fi, and I think Fi is good, but I think Icelander might be better. Just straight up. So, yeah. I also ended up with some premium blues. I consider these 3 premium cards in the Icelander deck. These are commons. These are commons you will want in any Icelander limited environment. 1-drop Aether Hail, so you can blast them for 2, and if you play it from your arsenal on your opponent's turn, it's an ice card, so they'll also get a Frostbite token, and then you can immediately follow that up with the Waning Moon. So Aether Hail in your arsenal, and a single blue card is 5 damage on your opponent's turn, and they get a Frostbite token. Cold Snap is also great because from arsenal on your opponent's turn, they get a Frostbite token, they get this effect, and then you also get a draw card, which is great. And then it also allows you to follow up with Waning Moon. And same thing with Arctic Incarceration. 0 from your arsenal. They get 2 Frostbite tokens, 1 from the effect, 1 from Icelander. And then, you guessed it, blast them for 3 with the Waning Moon. Really good stuff here. I consider these premium cards. And these are the cards that I was kind of looking to get in my draft. Let's talk about the draft. So this draft was interesting, right? So this was the official draft on Sunday. And this was a pick 6 pivot into Icelander. I had initially started with Draconic cards, trying to stay open. I got like a Red Hot and what else? It was like a Red Hot and the Rush Blaze Headlong. Yeah, Blaze Headlong. And then let's see if I can find the Red Hot. Should be pretty easy to find here. Yeah, Red Hot. I like staying open with these kind of cards, but based on the signals that I was getting, like the dude to my right was passing me like premium Icelander cards, like I said, this type of stuff. And then the person to my left, he was a little bit younger. I want to say younger than 15, and he was really stoked about dragons. And he was talking the whole time about all these dragons that he was picking, and I saw him pick the double-sided dragons, and it was pretty obvious that he was in Dromai. So I was like, yeah, pick 6 pivot into Icelander. Ended up working out for me because I went 3-0 with this deck. And once again, Waning Moon is an absolute house. Helios Mitre is incredibly good because you can use it multiple times on the same target. So it's really good in Icelander mirror matches. I learned that the hard way with this one because against my round 1 opponent, I think, I decided to use the Coronet Peak instead of the Helios meter. Yeah, that was not the right move. I might have been able to win that game if I used this card instead, which is a little bit of a bummer, but she played very, very well. And yeah, can't complain. Great match. Anyway, I also drafted Spellfire Cloak and Quelling Slippers. Having Arcane Barrier is really good in the Icelander mirror match, as you would guess. I drafted an early Quelling Robe just because I think Quell in general is really good, and being able to get a almost full or a full equipment loadout is not that hard because you always have access to the Helios Mitre because it is a token, not a common. You just get this if you want it. So really, really good. Quell is also really, really good, so just getting your full Quell loadout is great. But Arcane Barrier I found in the sealed is very important, because I had no AB in this loadout, and like I said, I lost. The only games that I lost were my Icelander mirror matches. So take that for what you will. Against absolutely fantastic players. And so the draft deck is kind of a funny draft deck. I only have 5 reds, right? Some decent Icelander reds. We have Polar Cap, Aether Hail, like I said, is a fantastic card. I have a Majestic Erase Face, which is great. And then just some other ones too. Like I said, I like the 6 attack cards for popping Phantasm. And Critical Strike is alright. Blocks for 3, and you can come in for 5 if you really need to. So if all you got going is just like, I don't know, just pitch attack for 5, you can do that too. I never did, but I could. And then we have a ton of yellows. Giant stack of yellows, and then not as many blues as I would like, which is a little bit of a bummer, but is not as bad as it looks, because I ended up with a ton of 0 cost non-attacks, right? So none of them are red, but let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 0 cost non-attacks. And what that means is on your own turn, you can just 0 cost non-attack and then pitch one of these billion yellows that I got and then just smash on in with your Waning Moon. Waning Moon is so good. So yellows are actually not that bad at all in Icelander. Do not underestimate yellows. Blues obviously are amazing because of Icelander's abilities, but don't tunnel vision into the blues. Yellows are also really good. Obviously blues are better, but like I said, especially when combined with 0 costs. Like Wreath of Ripples, that has opt 1, and draw a card, which is, it's an interesting card. But it's a 0 cost non-attack, so you can immediately follow up with Waning Moon. Same with Aether Dart, 0 cost non-attack. There's also yellows, so I can pitch these for Waning Moon. Dampen, we talked about Dampen. The yellow version's not quite as good as the blue, because the blue you can play as instant speed on your opponent's turn. I really don't like Brain Freeze at all, other than the blue version, but I just had to run it because I didn't have enough playables. Also, like, once again, it's just a 0 cost, and also pitches for 2, and also blocks for 3. So this is just not bad. I literally never used it for its effect, like not a single time. It was always to pitch or block. Succumb to Winter, 3 for 4 arcane damage, not too bad at all. Eyespind, 0 for 2, just great. And if you fuse it, you can kind of, you know, get a little bit of value off of it. But once again, 0 for 2, blocks for 3, pitches for yellow, great stuff. So like I said, the yellow cards, do not underestimate the yellow cards. I got a lot of them, and they turned out to be quite good. And I ended up with some, like I said, some cards that I would consider premium, like Frosting, Aether Hail, Arctic Incarceration. Unfortunately, these are, like I said, yellow, so you can't play them at instant speed, but they're also great for fuse, or just great to play on your own turn. And I ended up with a good chunk of these. And then, of course, my blues. I did end up with some that I would consider premium blues. These are just like to have blues in the deck. Literally just only ever pitched with these. And then these ones were great, to be honest. Just absolutely fantastic. These ones are the premium ones that are ice cards that you can play at instant speed from your bin, or from your, not from your bin, from your arsenal, but absolutely fantastic. I was very happy to see these just kind of go around, and I was like, yep, don't think anyone's an Icelander. Turned out being a pretty good call. The person diagonal, so not to my right, but the one to their right, which was, for me, it was kind of going around the table. They were just hate drafting. They just hate drafted and then just left. So that is what it is. But the draft ended up being, yeah, a little wonky with these little blues. But the yellows really pulled their weight, and I ended up with a good old 3-0, beating 2 other Icelanders. I did beat double mirror matches, so that's a little bit of redemption there. And then finally, last thing we'll talk about today is this FAB deck. Now, I went 2-0 with this FAB deck. It was just a you know, really casual draft with Dear Mamata and some judges. Just a lot of fun here. This is the draft that I picked up, that reverse rewind, because I was like, I opened it up in a pack, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna take this. I don't care if I'm playing FAB, I'm gonna take this. FAB's good. Flies really good. I ended up with a full equipment suite. Heat Wave can push a crap load of damage. This is one that instant you can destroy it and give all your Phoenix Flames +1. And I had a turn where I attacked DM Armada for 6 with a bunch of Phoenix Flames. Yeah. I also ended up drafting a ton of zero-cost Go-Agains. So like the Ronin Renegades. Any of these any of these unconditional Go-Again cards are fantastic, even if they don't have the effect, like any effects or anything. So like there's like a little cycle here, right? So there's a Ronin Renegade, 0 for 3 Go-Again, 1 for 4 Go-Again, and then the 2 for 5 Go-Again. These are all like slightly worse than other cards, except for Rebellious Rush, I think. I think there's just strictly better versions of these two. Like, they're the same, but they have effects as well. But these are still really good. Oh, like this one, Soaring Strike, is a strictly better Dust Runner Outlaw. They both even block for 2. But don't underestimate these. They're still really good. They do what they need to do. They're chain links. They're Draconic chain links, and they hit for 4, which is great. And as you can see, I prioritized this kind of stuff in the draft, and it really paid off. These cards slap. Inflame is also really, really good. This is the 0 for 1, and if you played another red card this turn, you can get a Phoenix Flame from your graveyard to your hand. So what is really nice is you can have 3 chain links, and then use Fi's ability to get one of those Phoenix Flames back from your bin to your hand, play the Phoenix Flame, and then after the Phoenix Flame resolves, you can close your combat chain, everything will go into your graveyard, and then you can play your Inflame, which will come in for 1 damage with Go Again, and then that'll allow you to get that Phoenix Flame that you just played and close the combat chain, thusly putting it in your bin, getting that Phoenix Flame back from your hand, and then playing it again. So there's a lot of shenanigans you can do, so I think this card's great. Brand with Cinderclaw is literally just a strictly better version of the Ronin Renegade, but the Ronin Renegade is a Shoryuken. It's a Shoryuken, so therefore it is better. Blaze Headlong, 0 for 4 with Go Again if you played a red. Fantastic. Burn Away. Fairly underwhelming, but it can be a 0 for 4 with Go Again if you banish a Phoenix Flame from your graveyard. Also blocks for 3, which is not too bad. And I also drafted Thaw, which is, this was my first pick. Kept me open. Pretty good card. Only blocks for 2, but it's okay against Icelander. And then, of course, the 3 Phoenix Flames. The fact that you just get 3 Phoenix Flames means you can be pretty greedy with your draft. You just have 3 free slots in your deck. And then I have like a couple yellows. Once again, unconditional Go-Agains. This is one of the not unconditional Go-Agains, and I don't really like it all that much. It's a 0 for 2, and if you played 2 or more Draconic Chain Links, then this gets Go Again, which is fine. It's fine, but I like the unconditional ones, just so you can start your turn with them. Yeah, that's basically it. I filled out the rest of the deck with very similar cards. More Rebellious Rushes, more Ronin Renegades, Soaring Strikes, Dust Runners, and then I got 2 blue Rise from the Ashes, which I think are the best versions of this card, because it's 0, your next Draconic or Ninja, you play this turn gets +1, which I didn't really care about. I really more cared about getting the Phoenix Flame from my graveyard back to my hand. So that's really good too. And I got 2 of these, and also pitches for blue. So yeah, I thought this deck was quite good. Like I said, I went 2-0 with it. And yeah, that's basically it. Ton of fun drafting, ton of fun playing Sealed. I can't wait to play more Uprising. Absolutely fantastic set. And it made it all the more obvious when I did the Aria Sealed. Even though I went 4-0 with the Aria Sealed deck, this format's just so much more interactivity, so much more fun. Like I said, having the Helios Miter at token, just being able to get it and play with it is great. Yeah, there's a lot of great equipment. All the equipment with Quell, oh, it's so good. So highly recommend, highly recommend playing some Uprising Limited. I really, truly believe it's their best limited environment yet. And I just had a ton of fun with the weekend. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you so much to everyone that I met at the event. Huge shout out once again to Steve Argyle. Like I said, this is my favorite thing that I got, even though I did pull the cold foil Coronet Peak with art by Soyme, by the way, one of my absolute favorite artists. If you watch any of my artist proof videos, you will know I get artist proofs from her a lot. Gorgeous, freaking gorgeous artwork. Like, I can't even, oh, it's so good. It is so good. But I love this Viceroy, man. It's rad as hell. So once again, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments down below if you went, if you came up and saw me, your experiences, what you think of Uprising Limited, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time for some more Flesh and Blood content. I have a lot more plans, a lot more videos for Uprising. Like I said, I think this set is freaking awesome. Can't wait to play more. See y'all later.